We're likely to try out many sorts of lives before we finally land on the quiet variety. It's a truth few of us want to admit when we're young. But it's a journey almost all of us take. Rarely does anyone start there in the quiet. I'm talking about the kind of life where the goal isn't to conquer the world, but to find peace within our own small corner of it. The kind of life where we try to be in bed by 10 p.m. Not because we're boring, but because we cherish our rest. A life where we are intensely, profoundly grateful when nothing has gone dramatically wrong in the preceding hours. It's a destination we arrive at, not a place we begin. Because first, we must explore the louder avenues. First, we might try out the life of fame. This is the glittering path. The one sold to us in movies and on social media. It's the sort of life where we dream that someone will stop us in a shop, on a train, or at a coffee house and say, with a spark of recognition, "Aren't you?" Or, "Wait, don't I know you from?" And for a moment, that recognition feels like validation. It feels like proof that we exist, that we matter. That's not a negligible thrill, especially if you didn't feel too noticed in childhood. Perhaps you were the quiet kid in the back of the classroom. Or if, during the turbulent years of adolescence, it was always someone else who was able to make the people you loved and admired smile. The desire to be seen isn't shallow. It's deeply human. But the life of fame, even a small taste of it, comes with a hidden cost, the constant performance. The pressure to maintain a certain image. The gnawing anxiety that the spotlight will move on. You begin to feel like a product. And the gap between who you are and who you pretend to be grows wider each day. Or, if not fame, we might be drawn to the life of melodramatic relationships. This is a different kind of intensity, but just as addictive. It's the life where love feels less like a safe harbor and more like a raging storm. We're constantly wondering, do they love me? Do I love them? We mistake the dizzying highs and crushing lows for passion. We convince ourselves that true love must be chaotic. It's the kind of life where we break up every couple of weeks, followed by grand, cinematic reconciliations. We find ourselves frantically calling them to come back from their parents' house, insisting we didn't mean all those crazy, hurtful words we said. We were just scared. We were just so full of emotion. For a time, this drama feels like living. It fills the silence we're afraid to face. The chaos becomes a distraction from our own inner emptiness. But eventually, the emotional whiplash becomes exhausting. The hangovers from the screaming matches and tearful nights last longer than the highs from making up. We start to realize that what we called passion was just a pattern of shared anxiety. And so, after the exhaustion from chasing fame or surviving drama, a new phase begins. It can take a lot of pain, a lot of burnout, before we make our peace with so-called ordinariness and finally accept it for the profound wonder it truly is. This transition isn't a sudden flip of a switch. It's a slow, quiet dawn. It's the moment we realize that the frantic energy we've been chasing was just running away from ourselves. It takes time. And it takes healing. Before we can deeply, genuinely love a day when we have nothing monumental to do. A day when the agenda is simply to be. To wake up early. Not to an alarm, but to the gentle light filtering through the window. To finish the dishes from last night. Finding a small, meditative rhythm in the warm, soapy water. To take a long shower. Just for the feeling of it. To sit and read a few poems. Not to seem smart, but to feel a connection to another human soul across time. To answer some emails. Clearing the slate with a sense of calm accomplishment. Maybe the afternoon's big adventure is a trip to the museum. Not to check it off a list, but to stand in silent awe before some ancient African masks or a hand-carved canoe from Oceania. Feeling the immense weight and beauty of human history. Afterwards, the journey continues to a local bakery to buy a loaf of warm, crusty bread, and then home to fry some eggs for dinner. There is a sacredness in these simple acts of nourishing ourselves, of creating order, of finding beauty in the mundane. Once we discover this quiet joy, we might become rather fierce in its defense. We become guardians of our own peace, wary of anyone and anything that threatens this hard-won achievement. We learn to politely decline invitations from well-meaning people for complicated excursions or loud, worrying parties that we know will drain our energy and leave us feeling empty. We start to see these invitations not as opportunities, but as potential disturbances to the tranquility we've fought so hard to build. We may also find ourselves turning away from the constant barrage of news about driven-type starting companies, releasing a new film, or dropping a new record. We step away from the endless scroll of comparison, not from a place of bitterness, but from a place of wisdom. We know now, from personal experience, how much these stimulants can cost us in peace of mind. We have learned that our own quiet contentment is more valuable than their public success. We embrace the joy of missing out. It takes great confidence to give up on being special in the eyes of the world. It is a radical act to define success on your own terms. To say, my peace is my ambition. My calm is my prize. It takes a deep and abiding kindness to oneself to interrupt the longing for suffering and anguish. A longing we once mistook for a sign that we were truly living. You see, one might have needed to try out almost everything else: the noise, the chaos, the performance, before realizing, in the end, that it was calm we always really wanted. And so, the journey doesn't end in resignation, but in a beautiful, profound revelation. We discover that the quiet life isn't the consolation prize for those who couldn't make it in the fast lane. It is the grand prize. It is the peace that comes from knowing who you are and what you truly need, away from the clamor of what the world tells you to want. It's the deep, unshakable comfort of finally, truly, coming home to yourself. If this journey of exploration and this search for inner peace resonates with you, we invite you to join our community. Please consider subscribing to our channel and clicking the notification bell. We are dedicated to creating more content that helps us all navigate this beautiful, complicated, and ultimately rewarding journey back to ourselves. Thank you for watching.